Hello students, today we are going to determine whether a table of a function is a positive and negative, or if it's exponential, we're going to look at growth and decay. Don't forget to take notes as you go and do the survey at the end. The questions for the survey will actually be on the video, so make sure you look at that last part for the questions. So when we're looking at tables, we need to determine if it's linear, exponential, absolute value, or quadratic, which we have done the past few days in class. Now we need to tell, is it a positive, a negative, or a growth or decay? So the first thing we're going to look at is a linear positive or an exponential growth. Alright, so the first thing you want to always check is, are your x values increasing? So as you look from top to bottom, do the x values increase? If they do, then we can go on and look at the y values. Are the y values increasing? If the y values are increasing from top to bottom, then we have a linear positive or an exponential growth, depending on what the pattern of the y values are. So if we're looking at these, as you can see on this one, as we go from top to bottom, our y values are getting bigger and bigger and bigger, so this would be a positive. On this one, as we go from top to bottom, our y values are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And on this last one, as we go from top to bottom, our y values are getting bigger. Since they're getting bigger, this tells us that this is a positive. With quadratic and absolute value, since we have that little pattern in the tables, again, you want to look for your x values. As long as they're increasing, then you're good to go for the next step. You want to start at the vertex, and as you go up and down from the vertex, are the y values increasing? If they are increasing, then you have a positive absolute value or quadratic table. So let's look at an example. So if we start at our vertex, which is the middle, we have a 5, and then we go 6, 7, 6, 7. So the values are getting bigger and bigger, so that's a positive. Again, if we start at our vertex, then we go 1, 4, and then 0, 1, 4. Again, the y values are getting bigger, so that's a positive. If we go from -4, -3, 0, -4, -3, 0, then our y values are getting bigger, which means we have a positive. So the big thing to remember, positive, y values are getting bigger as long as the x values are increasing. Alright, so let's look at the linear and exponential negative or decay. Again, we want our x values to be increasing. You're seeing a pattern here. X values are always increasing. Then we look at our y values. Are the y values decreasing? If they are decreasing or getting smaller, then you know that the table is a negative or a decay. So let's look at a couple examples here. So as we go from top to bottom, we see our y values are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Again, as we go from top to bottom, our y values are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And lastly, our y values again are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So as you can see, it doesn't really matter if the numbers are positive or negative. That has nothing to do with if it's a negative, positive, growth, or decay. It's the y values and what the pattern is. Alright, just like before on quadratic and absolute value, you want your x values to be increasing, and then you start at your vertex. Are the numbers decreasing as you go from the vertex? If they are, then it's a negative. So again, if we look at an example, start at our vertex, 4, 3, 5, 4, 3, they're decreasing, so that would be a negative. 2, 0, -4, 2, 0, -4, so again, they're decreasing. 9, 8, 7, 9, 8, 7, so they are decreasing, so this would be a negative. Alright, so when we're looking at tables, a positive or a growth means the y values are increasing. A negative or a decay means the y values are decreasing. So positive growth increasing, negative decay decreasing. Alright, don't forget to take the survey. Make sure you have taken all the notes and they're all filled out, and bring your questions to class tomorrow. Don't forget how to classify between linear, exponential, absolute value, and quadratic as well. Here are your survey questions. You're just telling me, are they a positive, negative, growth, or decay? Make sure you choose your answers in the survey. Please pay special attention and make sure you are paying attention to what the y values are doing. If you need help, go back and rewatch part of the video.